Greetings. Welcome to Cradle to Campus. This is your one-stop family shop that offers spiritual, emotional, and mental orientation into the intricacies of parental conundrum that sails through child developmental stages all the way to adulthood. Now, from infancy, the parent is a manager. Mm-hmm. When they get to young adults, they are a consultant. Mm-hmm. In between is a maze of coaching. Mm. Yes, from 0 to 24 months, a baby who is fully dependent, all the way to a young adult who is full of energy, creative, he is daring, he is out there with so much energy and attracting all manner of risks. Mm. Yes, throughout this period, the family is caught up in an adventure that threatens sometimes to disintegrate the family fabric, or in some instances, hems together the patterns of memories that usher the family and focuses them towards victory and happiness. Mm. Yes, Cradle to Campus is here to wade with you through this maze of coaching for success. Mm. My name is Amos Otieno, together with my love,
Kiki Otieno.
We will be hosting you throughout this channel called Cradle to Campus. Now, for the last 10 years, we've been privileged to minister to youth and their parents. And what we have witnessed in most occasions is that there is sometimes so much pain, so much confusion, so much panic and fear. And on the other hand, we have also witnessed exuberance, joy, fire, connection, deep success. So we wonder, okay, so how do these two connect? What do you have to do so that we have some level of stability, not two extremes? That is why Cradle to Campus is here.
Yes, Cradle to Campus. And I know as you're listening, the first question is cradle and campus on the same sentence?
Yeah.
Yes, Cradle to Campus. You know, just like the way Amos has said, we've worked with youth, the teens, and their families in the last 10 years. And the truth is, 10 years is not just the beginning. You know, there is a beginning, and we've seen that 10 years, it's just like, time of harvesting. Mm-hmm. And that is where you get all the fruits, that is where you get all the products, all the byproducts of the work that you've been doing there in the cradle.
Yeah, possibly maybe the last 18, 20 years, or
yes.
22 years.
Yeah, that's true. And you realize that someone could even be asking, what's a cradle? Mm-hmm. And a cradle is that crib, the cot, the infant there, they're so dependent, just like the way you've said. Mm-hmm. And research has shown that even in the older years, mm-hmm. In the teen years, as these kids are getting older, mm-hmm. it doesn't mean that they don't need their parents. No. They still need the same attention, mm-hmm. they need the same love. Mm-hmm. It's only that now the measures could be a bit different, but for us to get great results at the campus level and the teen level, mm-hmm. and even when they are leaving the nest, mm-hmm. we have to do a good job right from the cradle. And we have to make sure that as they go through their childhood years, as they go through their teen years, their campus years, we are there as parents, we are supporting them, and we are cheering them on to make sure that they are succeeding in what they are doing.
Quite some work, actually.
Yeah. So talk of children, we are blessed with two beautiful, amazing, adorable babies. And it's been such a beautiful journey.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we've been learning a lot. Mm-hmm. And on that note, how was your childhood?
Well, My childhood was very interesting. Not one that I would call home for, but I believe it played a very pivotal role in setting up who I am. I was born in the city. I've grown up here most part of my life. I started with my father, then my father passed on, and I continued on. And so for most part, I've not been with my dad. So I basically grew up with my brothers, older brothers. Man, I praise God for you. May God bless you for just taking me in and always working tirelessly to help me to be the person that I am today. But
where was your mom?
My mom was up country. She couldn't come to the city after my dad's death, and so she was supporting from back there with everything. But some of the things that I remember in my childhood is that because I was growing up amongst way older brothers, I took life very seriously. I saw things from a very strict point of view. Going to school, trying to learn, trying to like girls. Class 7, class 8. You are going beyond just being attracted. Now you want to kind of launch your missions and get who likes you and who doesn't. And it was an interesting phase right there, because when you have older brothers who believe that you need to study, it's your time to study, then you're very limited in space. I felt very limited. I couldn't mostly bring many of my friends at home. I wasn't sure how my brothers would react, because the neighbors would tell them, I almost came with friends there. They were jumping up in the sitting room and everything. And the other thing that happened is we didn't get to have such a deep relationship, because they were way older, and for that reason we did not get to really connect deeply in such a way that I would have a voice before them. I would not advise them. I wouldn't make a suggestion. I was there more to be seen and not to be heard. That space was not there. So most of the time, if I wanted to say something, you would be told, well, adolescents, wanafikiria wanajua zaidi. Tumekuwa hapo. We've been there. Then I was also growing in an environment where we had other older people around who essentially had it in their minds that until you get a job, you are still a child. So basically in that environment, I had to escape and be myself, and then come back into that setting, pretending to be someone else completely, and just trying to work it out in such a way that I would not cause trouble and everything. But that also brought some double face, of existence. I didn't get, or rather I really refrained from really engaging with girls, because that would spell trouble. Even though I liked a few, I'll just keep that, in my heart. Even though, because there are some girls who would like me as well, but we'd have to keep distance, because that would spell trouble for me. Then I didn't also have a lot of school fees at the time, so the little time I would be in school, I really had to maximize and make the best of it. So that basically is a brief of how my childhood was, all the way to teenage actually, trying to be part of scouts, but it's a bit difficult trying to do this and that. But because of that strict upbringing of my brothers, I guess, they wouldn't see things from a different point of view, or even from my point of view. It was more like books, nothing else but books.
Did you have hobbies?
Yeah, I loved poetry. I loved, playing drums, music. I loved, drama. I think drama was, the in thing back then. But let me also say that it was really difficult to exploit it to the full, because these days we call them curfews. For me, it was, I have to make sure that dinner is ready. I have to make sure the house is clean. I have to ensure that I buy things on time. And sleep within the required time. So ingine you are at drama, and and you just know that after this I'm going in for trouble. It's going to be trouble.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but how was your childhood anyway?
Wow, that's a very good question. And first, thank you so much for sharing your story, how you grew up. Of course, our story is like light and darkness. So for me, I grew up in the countryside, somewhere in Meru. Yeah, with my family. We grew up like in a farm, and my parents were, they are not farmers. They had other occupation. Yeah, and honestly, I have very beautiful memories of how I grew up, and the reason is not because we had very fancy stuff at home. Growing up at country is very different. Going to the farm, doing those jobs that ushago, but the memories that I have of growing up is the presence of my parents, because I felt they were always there. Of course, they were doing their job, so they would go early in the morning when we were going to school, and they would come when we were coming back in the evening. They are there. It's not like in the city because there was no much traffic, so you just come home and your parents are there and you do the homeworks. Saa zingine tunafanya na inaitwa koroboi ama inaitwa
koroboi.
Yes, tunafanya hiyo. But they create such sweet memories for me of when I was growing up. My dad was very involved in my life. I remember when we were small, we were singing and having such a great time together. But I remember when I was a teen, I went to a boarding school when I was 9 years, and of course I would really be very homesick because I wanted to be home. Yeah, but also now when I went to to high school in my teen years, I had moments of trying to experiment different things. Those days things were not like now, because we didn't have phones, we didn't have the TVs were black and white. There wasn't much of what we have today. But I remember also some memories of things that happened when I was a teenager, and I look back and I'm like, I wish I was able to share that with my parents. We were able to have a conversation and share with them what I was going through. And it was very embarrassing, Yet, in the bottom of my heart, I felt, no, I didn't do that. So, when you have to live in that canopy of you did this thing and you didn't do, accused, embarrassed, and I felt, actually I got into depression. And remember, I'm in school, I had very bad migraines, and now because as much as my parents were there, I don't remember me going back home and talking through with them these incidents of what happened, and how I felt, my emotions, Yeah, so that is what I can remember. But I remember we were such a close-knit family, and those memories are very special. So there's something, the psychologists call reminiscence bump. And the studies have shown the things that happen to us, especially in teen years, they are very important. We remember them better than any other stage in life.
Wow.
And so even for us teenagers, our experiences, and for the parents, the experiences that teenagers are having right now, they will stick with them forever. Even when they're in 50s or when they're in 60s, they remember them like it happened yesterday. Because even as I'm sharing my experience right now, I'm even feeling the emotions. It happened it happened like almost 20 years ago, but it feels like it's happened yesterday. You're getting it? So because of that, as our kids, even in infancy, when they are younger, we usually give them a lot of attention. We give them a lot of soothing. We comfort them, and in teen years, just like you said, the parents are consultants. And the teens are becoming autonomous. They are leaving home, they want their space, they want to make their own decision. they still want their parents to be there. You know, and there's one psychologist is called Dan Siegel. He says that the same attention that you give to an infant, it's the same attention that you need to give to a teen, maybe in a different way, but at this point they also need to be feel seen. And what do I mean by feeling seen?
Even heard, right?
Yes, to be seen means to be heard.
Okay.
Yeah, and it means that when you're seeing them, they are feeling supported, they are feeling that warmth, and because of that, they are able to perform better in school, they are able to have their better self-confidence, and for those who have the parents are more present, they are able to overcome the handles that they are going through better. And then the other thing that he says is that they need to feel safe. You know, teen years, there's a lot of insecurity. I don't know if it was the same for you.
Yeah.
You know?
You're wondering whether you are liked or not, whether you're handsome or not, whether you'll ever get rich or not. So too much dreams, cares. And you know, sometimes because they're finding themselves, and like for example, my experience that I had, it made me feel very insecure as a person. But when we are validated by our parents, or the family environment is validating, we are able to thrive. You know, and you know, as much as, and you know, teen years, they're very, you know, we say many people tend to say that teens have moods, but these people are having their own brains. They can think now. They are making their own decisions. They're becoming their own person. And the truth is, despite all that, despite the arguments or even the conflicts that they could be there, they want to feel respected. You know, teens want to feel, you know, respected. They want you to help them, you know, talk through the problems. You know, I felt I was a baby also.
Yes.
Now so you can't say anything. You can only be seen, not heard. You can be seen.
Yes.
But you have no opinions, no choices. You have what you're told is what you have to do, and that's it.
Yeah, and you know now what happens is when you're in such a setup, because the teens having their brain is really growing, they start to rebel. You're getting, But so that safety is very important, and the place that they are able to get that is at home. And then finally it says, you know, they want to feel soothed. You know, just like that small baby in the cradle, they want to feel safe. You know, soothed. They want to feel that someone is caring for them. Yeah, and then lastly, there's some stereotypes that are there about teen years. I don't know if you've come through some stereotypes.
Oh yeah. Stereotypes are there. As in, okay, let me speak on my behalf. One of the things that I would even hear my brothers tell me, and you know, and even their friends, they would say, you know, where adole na kusumbua. Adole na kusumbua.
So at that time you've expressed a different opinion.
A different opinion. I have a thought. Actually, some of the things I have actually experienced, I know exactly how it will come out. But then I would, you know, like, it would be shut down. Adole na kusumbua. Hiyo kichwa tutadeal nayo.
Yeah, that's true. And then the other thing that I've seen is that people tend to say, like now the way we have younger kids, or maybe people who have younger kids, you're told, they wanakaa vizuri vile wako wadogo, lakini ngoja wakuwe teens. Watakusumbua. So generally the thing is, the stereotype out there is that teen years are dramatic, years are so hard, you know, teens cannot even be close with their parents, they are locked up. But you know what? That's a stereotype. Actually, many you know, scientists and psychologists, they call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, in such a way that because you know, or the society around you, or even everyone is telling you that teen years are going to be hard, you begin to prepare like for that hardness, you know. But we are here to encourage you and to tell you that, you know what, it doesn't have to be like that.
No.
You know, as we conclude, now of late I really love reading teen books. There's this author, she's called Christine Carter, and she says parenting teenagers can be hard, but it can be much easier than you've ever been made to believe. And that's what we are about. That's what Cradle to Campus is all about.
Now we'll go to our devotional for the day, and our devotional is in the book of Ephesians, chapter number 5, verse 1. It's an interesting scripture, and I'll read pretty fast. It says, "Be imitators of God, therefore, as dearly loved children, and live a life of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God." I love this verse because it always reminds me of the fact that family is God's idea. He is our overall father. We are all his children, and he desires for us to emulate him. How do we do that? In a parenting setup. In a parenting setup, love has to cover all sin. We cannot be judging each other based on past failures. We must always live for today. Today's problems, if best, can be solved today, and we move forward with love. Forgiveness must punctuate all that we feel. Acceptance is capital in family. There is no way that you can live without love in a family, because love is the absolute glue that embeds a strong family, a successful family. We will be talking about this and more. May God bless you and give you strength as a young person, as a child, and even as a parent to work together and gain this great victory. See you in the next episode.